We are back! Epic high five.
Nice, that worked this time.
Post school being over, preschool starting again, summer break. Summer break!
Woohoo!
2013.
And we're here.
And we're here at school, so we're cool.
Do you know where we're not right now, Mr. Specht?
Disney World.
That and
California.
we are not at Comic-Con right
San
now.
Diego Comic-Con? Nope. Today, while we're filming this, is San Diego Comic-Con. Actually, this has been a huge summer just for, you know what? I'm an East Coast guy, but holy smokes. If you lived out in California, last month they had Ep.3. This month, San Diego Comic-Con. Next month, D23. Which we'll talk about this in a minute. I just recently got back from California.
You did?
D23 banners all up and down the streets. Which, if you don't know what D23 is, we'll be talking about that on a future episode. It's essentially like Disney nerds unite.
You have to pay money to be a nerd.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Being a nerd is expensive.
It is expensive to be. I was going to say, we could totally blow our whole salary if we were at Comic-Con right now.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so much merchandise. Vinyl, if you're into vinyl, tons of just different toys. Some of the, what are the
Pop vinyls?
Pop
Oh my
vinyls.
goodness.
What are some of the ones you saw?
Oswald.
Oswald.
And all the pop vinyls they have for Comic-Con, one, they're limited edition, so us over here in Florida probably not going to see them anytime.
Yeah, one year they had the Mr. Incredible, but the old suit,
Yes,
his
retro.
original, his Golden Age suit. I wanted that one so bad.
All of them are painted metallic this year, so that's kind of how you tell it's a Comic-Con one, but they do have an Oswald, which is awesome. They did Monsters University, so it's Sully. It looks something like this, but he's wearing his fraternity shirt.
They also show off a lot of their newer stuff that they're getting,
Yes,
which is
things
cool.
that are coming, things that we'll get to see within the upcoming year.
Other merchandise that I saw out there, did you see that they officially have made a DeLorean, Back to the Future DeLorean Lego set?
I did not, but that is pretty
Came
awesome.
out in San Diego, but it will be an actual set. So it's not like it's a San Diego exclusive, but there will be a DeLorean set with Doc and Marty included.
They made a Doc and Marty pop vinyl too.
If I was still really, really into Legos, I would be completely broke.
That's true.
Because between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and I mean just all the other stuff that they've had. Ninja Turtles, they have a Ninja Turtle set now.
The Ninja Turtle pop vinyls went crazy.
Oh, really?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
People want all four of them.
But I did want to mention, I just got back from California, and I could tell you a whole bunch of stories, but I'm not going to. I'm more excited to give Mrs. French her California goodie bag. Now, it says Johnny Cupcake on it. If you don't know who Johnny Cupcake is, look him up. He's a really cool clothing designer. But there are multiple things inside this box. I just shoved everything in there.
I'm very excited.
Yes, so Johnny Cupcake.
Thank you, Mr. Specht. And Mrs. Specht.
Notice I said clothing designer. We've talked about him before.
Yes.
Not a cupcake.
Not a cupcake store. This really bothered my mother when I sent my mom, because my mom, he has 4 stores. 2 in Boston, 1 in London, 1 in LA.
Yay.
So my mom goes to Boston frequently, and I'm like, can you go pick me up at Johnny Cupcake? Sure, sure. She walks in. You didn't tell me they don't sell cupcakes, which is the #1 asked question.
It happened when we were in there. Did I tell you that?
No.
So we're in there, we're looking at the shirts, trying to price things out. I wish I had worn mine today. I didn't even think about that. I got a Johnny Cupcake shirt.
Oh, and I've got multiples. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Mrs. Specht also bought a Johnny Cupcake shirt.
Nice.
We got 2 shirts for $40. It was a deal.
Nice.
Yeah. But while we're there, we're like looking, which one do we want? Oh, this one's cool, this one's cool. This couple walks in and just asked about the cupcakes. Hey, do you guys have cupcakes? And they're like, it literally, it's like the look at the feet on these guys' face, like, this happens multiple times every day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just felt so bad for the guys. So, without further ado, this is all your presents from Melrose.
Thank you.
Stopped at Johnny Cupcake, Tokidoki, stopped at Kids Robot. So a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff is from Disneyland as well, and
I got park maps because that's cool.
I have to get our park maps. That was like required. We did not grab enough park maps for all our friends apparently. We found out afterwards. So you were one of the ones.
Oh my goodness! Look at California Adventure Ariel. That's pretty cool.
Yes. It's got the California Adventure all over the box. Very cool box. You can see a little Ferris wheel on the side, but yeah. They had a couple of these, but there was only one really, really cute one, and that was Ariel. We bought that for you with the assumption that Bailey is probably going to take it.
Stealing it.
We kind of had that in mind when we bought it. We're like, well.
It's oh yeah. Johnny Cupcake's earrings.
And there's multiple, so
I can
you.
change it up.
Does Bailey have her ears pierced yet?
She does.
You, Bailey, and Scott could each wear.
Scott does not have his ears pierced.
Oh, I mean, that can
Grandpa
be
French has his ears
that can
pierced
be changed, though.
Maybe I can get Grandpa to wear some. That'd be cool.
Do it.
And the requisite, in case you don't know Johnny Cupcakes, you get a pack every time you order something.
Yes.
Or you go to the store. So, now my mom went and she got me my birthday presents from Johnny Cupcakes. And it kind of slipped by because she had all these mints in her purse.
Yeah.
And I went into her purse and I'm like, oh, guess who went to Johnny Cupcakes?
Yeah, that's right.
So, yes, you get mints, you get cards, you get pins.
And actually, we bought an extra pack of pins because we didn't like the one you were getting. So
Aww.
that way you got, I thought you like a lot of vampire stuff.
I do.
So
I like the
that's
vampire
a Johnny Cupcake vampire one, and then the other one looks kind of vintagey.
Okay.
That was the idea.
You also get
I did not see these yet.
They're funny. You get some kind of old school card. Now, twice when I've ordered, these are from Ghostbusters the cartoon.
Nice.
Last 2 times I ordered, I got them from the trading cards from Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Nice.
So Johnny Cupcakes he's a pretty awesome guy. He's very funny. You can follow him on Instagram, on Twitter. He has a Facebook page. Go find him. He's very cool. And the shirts are exclusives. Everything they have is limited edition, so they ship all over the world. There's not going to be a whole lot of people wearing a shirt.
Mostly shirts is what he does, but he did, like as you've seen, he does have other things. We opted for the earrings because it was something you could share with Bailey.
I can share it with Bailey, and she's going to love it.
Yeah. And then, in addition to that, they even have, he's kind of gotten into vinyl himself.
He has.
Yeah, he had a couple cool ones.
He has a logo, besides the Johnny Cupcakes logo, which...
He also has that chunky dude. Johnny Cupcakes logo
so
being...
this is like the Johnny Cupcakes logo.
Being a cupcake with crossbones underneath it.
So besides the Johnny Cupcakes logo, he has what is called the Big Kid. And it's basically a fat boy who's eating cupcakes.
Yeah.
And that's basically his mascot for it. Beside, you know, after the logo, the Big Kid is the mascot.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Specht and Mrs. Specht.
So yeah, so a lot of merchandising, and we touched on a lot of vinyl. So we thought for our first period today, we'll go right into vinyl arts. And because we just talked about Johnny Cupcakes, why don't we talk about the Cupcake Series, because there's a new Cupcake Series that was just released at the parks. But before we talk about the new series, tell us a little bit about the Cupcake Series in general.
Okay, so the Cupcake Series, it's called the Bakery Series. And this is the only series that I had the complete series of.
Yeah.
So there were 6 of them, and the way it worked is they have frosting on their head. There's a Vinylmation. Frosting on the head. You take the frosting off, this frosting's squishy, and there's a character
like a rubbery
underneath.
type of thing, yeah.
So, it was cool, and I have all 6, and I was like, okay, that's neat.
What an original series. Like, I wonder whose idea was like, hey, I got a good idea, let's make a cupcake topper so it looks like there's frosting on top of a vinyl.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's 2 Mickeys, a Minnie, Cheshire Cat, Tinkerbell, Marie.
Yeah.
So, this was like 2 years ago, and I was like, not a big deal. I have the whole set, cool.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? Disney has designed a second set.
And I didn't honestly think it would happen. I thought that was like a one and done type of series, but no.
And then this one, they took it above and beyond. This one is called the Mystery Bakery set.
Yes, it's actually cooler than this series. I mean, I like this series, but it is actually
It is pretty
cooler.
cool.
But you could spend a lot more money.
Oh, you're gonna spend a ton of money if you want them all. So what happens is you get a box like this, and it has a cupcake in it, and the head is on the cupcake. And it can be one of 3 designs underneath the cupcake. So let's say everybody's frosting looks exactly the same, and you have to take off the frosting to reveal which one you got.
So it could be multiple Mickey faces.
It could be, there's Mickey,
Yeah.
there's Figment, there's 3 of the 7 dwarfs,
Stitch.
there's Stitch, there's the little green men from
Green Men.
Toy Story. Very importantly, there is Phineas, Gus, and Ezra from the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
They're the hitchhiking ghost, if you don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Very interesting characters they've chosen this time around.
it is.
Like this series was very much I want to say feminine series. I mean, this
Oh, yeah.
definitely
This
was
is girly.
I would say very girly. Yes, I mean you got Cats and Mickey and Minnie and Tinkerbell, so kind of girly.
Mm-hmm.
But this next series, I mean, you're pulling Haunted Mansion characters and very smart series. I mean, this is the next series is one that I could see myself dropping some money on. And the cool part is like if you like Stitch.
You get 3.
You'll probably be happy with any of the one. If you need all 3, then you're in trouble because then you're going to be dropping some change.
That's the problem.
Like
That's where you need to get into trading with someone you know.
correct.
Or
Same thing with the Hitchhiking Ghost.
do you have
I'd
a
be
favorite?
I'd be
of the
happy
3?
with any of them. I'd be happy with any of them. In addition, it's really important to point out that there's another series that came out. You know, it's been a while since we did one of these videos, so you got to kind of cover a couple different sets. Beauty and the Beast.
Very cool.
So another kind of set that might be kind of more geared towards you than I.
Maybe. A lot of the
Yeah.
boy characters are in there though, and
True, but some of the boy characters you don't want. Like I recently traded for one.
Did you?
But it was the Insane Asylum villain.
that is cool.
Oh, you think that's cool? I would have kept it
Yeah.
for you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, but that's cool. He's, he's the mean guy.
Yeah, but he's only in there for he's probably got 2 minutes total of screen time. So I would say out of the whole series, he'd be the one I'd least want.
Who is the one you most want out of this?
I mean, Beast would be. I mean, Beast just looks awesome. You can actually see him on the box, and I can also
Which,
flash a picture.
by the way, one of the best box art.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's like this kind of quasi stained glass. Almost looks like the beginning of the movie where they're
Yes.
telling you the story of how things came to pass. But yeah, no, great. I would say Beast. I might be interested to keep Gaston. I probably would keep Cogsworth. I always kind of liked that character. Just the way he was kind of animated and how they kind of put everything together, that his mustache was like the piece of the clock. I always thought that was cool. I know you want Lemure.
I would like Lumiere. He's cool. He's got an accessory on top, like the Mask series that
Yes.
we didn't review because it got pulled. So
We should review a series that is non-existent.
so Lumiere. I would like Belle, obviously, because she's pretty cool, but I would probably lose her to my daughter. So Lumiere was always my favorite character. I would keep LeFou if I got him because
Yeah.
he's just funny.
I could see that too because he's much more relevant now in the parks because of his LeFou's brew.
I did not like that.
You did not like LeFou's brew.
I did not. But I don't like apple juice at all.
Do you like LeFou's brew more than butterbeer?
No.
Really?
I know.
See, I like it much more than butterbeer, but I enjoy butterbeer over at Universal Parks for Harry Potter. But LeFou's brew, big fan.
Apple
What's the
juice
apple
and marshmallow.
juice thing?
Yeah, no.
Apple juice was my go-to drink on the airplane over to California. That's like whenever I'm on an airplane, I drink apple juice.
Because you're a toddler?
Because I'm a toddler, number one. Number two, it just settles my stomach a little bit.
Do you get airsick?
Oh, I can't stand airplanes. It's the anticipation at the beginning and the end. Once the plane's in the air, I'm fine. But I just can't take takeoffs and landings.
Really?
It freaks me out. My palms get all sweaty. I start crying profusely. It's really
You
bad.
have to breathe into a bag and
Yes.
Marcy rubs your back.
Yes. I have to breathe into the man next to me's shirt. And he's like, I'm cool with it. He was a nice guy. I was very lucky he flew with us there and back. What
Very
a
kind of
coincidence.
him.
What a coincidence.
Did you hold his hand the whole time?
Held his hand the whole time. Marcy's not going to hold my hand. But
We're talking about
Vinylmation?
Beauty the Beast.
Beauty the Beast Vinylmation. Is there any other ones from that series that you'd want?
Let's see. Let's take a look here.
Chaser is him in Prince form.
Yeah, I don't like him in Prince.
Oh, really?
I always thought that I would prefer him in Beast form. Like if I was Belle,
He's very cuddly.
just stay the Beast, yeah.
He has an official name. And,
Adam.
Oh, Prince Adam. Very good. So, yes.
No one knows him as Adam, though.
No. Like, that was as a kid. Every time I saw a Beast in the park, I was kind of like, so, is everything okay? I know she's back in Beast form. Did she fall out of love with you? Did you guys have a fight or something? And that was always kind of weird for me as a kid. And then he can't, I don't know if it's still the case, but he can't sign autographs.
I don't know because Bailey makes him go away.
Oh, really?
At Epcot, you can meet Belle and the Beast. Belle in her,
Yeah.
not in her big ball gown, but in her French provincial clothes. And, but the Beast is huge.
Yes.
So, like, you could play the Beast because
Probably.
you're 18 feet tall.
Probably.
And he's really big, so if you have a really tiny
Would she
kid,
be okay with him if it was Prince Adam?
she's not bad with the princes. And honestly, sometimes the princes in the parks are better than the princesses.
Sometimes. Without further ado, let's see what she got. This is an official unboxing of the Beauty and the Beast.
We're using a clay tool here because we really like this box. And,
Watch how I do this. Let's get a focus in.
all right.
Oh no, I know. All right. Oh jeez. Well, now I'm glad I didn't keep him for you. Well, fortunately, you thought he was cool, so.
He is pretty cool. I don't know if I'll keep him, but he's cool. So.
That was our unboxing of the Beauty and the Beast set. Which do you think is cool, the character you got or the box itself?
Box.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Now, upcoming in this vein, we've seen a couple movies. And the next movie series would be the Little Mermaid series that's coming out.
Yeah, yeah. What do they have? They've had Lion King was the biggest one.
Lion King, yes. Toy Story, obviously.
Yeah.
Monsters University.
Right. Snow White was the
Snow White was
tiny one.
That was cool.
It was
of the
cool.
way
I think it was cooler
is.
in the small format, actually. I think it worked out well, especially because dwarfs, I'm not sure if you're aware, dwarfs are usually small.
Yes, they're the opposite of you.
Yes.
You would be a 9-inch Vinylmation to a dwarf.
Correct. All right, so for second period, we're going to talk a little bit about Imagineering, and because we've touched on California so much in this episode, why don't we talk about the history of Fantasyland from Disneyland to the Magic Kingdom?
Okay.
It tends to be that Disneyland for a good many years kind of overshadowed our Fantasyland. They had much more stuff, but then a couple years ago,
we totally turned up the volume on it.
yeah, after so many years of Fantasyland with minor changes or taking things out, the Magic Kingdom finally gets a major Fantasyland expansion, which, I mean, they've changed Tomorrowland a decent amount over the years. Thank goodness they finally gave a little love to Fantasyland, because Fantasyland is if there was a land that is the most popular out of the Magic Kingdom, it's Fantasyland, I would say.
Oh yeah, especially now.
Especially since the castle's the main icon for the whole thing.
But you also have to think, when we were younger, they didn't market princesses to us like they market princesses to kids now.
Yeah. If you're a kid now, I mean, you
a girl. Generally
a girl.
Generally a girl.
You're probably, all kids in general are probably pretty familiar with the princesses.
Oh, yes,
because they're marketed so well. I'm gonna say, they really are marketed well.
So when you market to little girls who want to be princesses, you need a princess place for them to be.
Yeah.
And they really stepped it up. Now, Fantasyland, when we were a kid, though, it wasn't all about that. Our Fantasyland included...
Much different.
Much different.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it now, and then you look at it... I mean, we had... we did have Mr. Toad, which they still have out in Disneyland.
Yes, I loved it. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was our family ride. We went on Mr. Toad every single time.
Yeah, it's weird that that's such a fan favorite ride, especially considering in the ride itself you actually die and go to an unpleasant place.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but it translates. People just loved it, and I still love it.
I loved it. I just absolutely loved it, and it is currently Winnie the Pooh at our Fantasyland.
Yeah.
We had 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea as a kid.
We did.
I missed that ride.
We actually beat out Disneyland in that sense, that because they always had the submarine voyage. It wasn't the Nautilus. It wasn't 20,000 Leagues. So when we were kids, we actually got to go on the Nautilus. It was exactly the same thing, pretty much, but it's just way cooler to be inside Nemo's sub. But they went out because they still have their submarine voyage. They brought it back a couple years ago, and that was really cool to go on that because it's Finding Nemo themed now. So as we went through it, you got to go through and you got to see like Darla swimming under trying to catch fish and doing that whole thing. It has a couple of the same scenes as our Nemo ride in Epcot.
Okay.
You know, a lot of that projections technology. Yeah, so it's a cool ride though. We were very excited to ride it. Decent length line the first time we rode it, so there's still people really interested. But I don't think they're necessarily. Do you remember as a kid trying to fit into the submarine? It's not a ton of space.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
It was. They had these little pull-down seats. It almost made you feel like you were sitting on a toilet in a boat.
Yes, I said to multiple people. I said, I'm telling you, there was more room when I was a kid. But obviously I've grown quite a bit from a kid. But I even think still, I can't imagine when they built it at our park that they would have built it this small. I mean, I was literally like, I'm looking out this little porthole and my knees are literally like sitting right next to my cheeks, and it was tight, I'm not gonna lie. And you know, the person next to you has hairy arms, so it's like you just feel that right next to you, like, oh, so gross. And it's really humid in there, so
it's very humid in there. People are all breathing on each other. If you're claustrophobic, this is not the ride for you.
No. I could definitely see people getting on there and just being like, let me out now.
Yeah.
So, but that was kind of cool to go on that. But ours was in Fantasyland. Theirs actually Tomorrowland. So guess what? That doesn't even count towards their Fantasyland score. Suckers.
So our Fantasyland currently, which if you haven't been to the parks recently, they opened Rapunzel's bathrooms.
Rapunzel's bathrooms? Very cool attraction.
I'm not gonna lie, those are beautiful bathrooms.
I have not been in the bathrooms yet, but I will
because
rate
over
them.
in that side you used to have to wait behind Peter Pan to go to the bathroom, and it was horrible.
And Peter Pan's bathroom was the worst, I think, in the Disney parks because it was so small.
It was old and it was in a corner and it was all cluttered up. But Rapunzel's bathrooms, they've made it look like the square where she does the dance before she goes to the palace.
Yeah.
So they've got the banners and the fountain, and
it's something literally you don't necessarily need, but they did it and it's awesome. And most importantly, they opened up a little more walkway over to Haunted Mansion.
They did. From the bathrooms, you have a walkway to Haunted Mansion, and you pass Rapunzel's tower with the waterfall, and it's very beautiful visually and also functional because that was stroller parking for a while.
Yeah.
After the Skyway was taken out.
That's right.
When they were building New Fantasyland, they kind of built it in two sections. In what used to be Toontown, that's where they moved Dumbo, and they have the Barnstormer back there. They have two character meet and greet tents, which we went in for the first time the other day. We met Donald and Goofy.
Yeah.
And
the circus area is one of the best.
It is very cool.
Because the Toontown, here's the thing, being in Disneyland, their Toontowns are a lot of fun. There's rides, there's a Roger Rabbit ride, and there's a Gadget from Rescue Rangers ride.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's kind of cool and it dates it a little bit, but I mean, that's from our childhood, so I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the datage.
Now what we're waiting for, our New Fantasyland is not quite done yet.
No.
We have, in the middle of these two places, which they finally connected in the back, which is good, is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Adventure, which will be kind of roller coaster-ish through the mines. I'm thinking kind of Goofini roller coaster-ish, but longer.
I'm thinking like, I'm actually thinking it's going to be somewhat like Thunder Mountain, but with show scenes.
Do you think it'll be as fast as Thunder Mountain because then not as many kids can ride it?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. You know,
or just a different way to put them in, maybe?
The problem is if they make it like a Goofini, I'm thinking they're looking for an e-ticket attraction, and if it's like Goofini, they can't do that.
Go look up what an e-ticket is.
Attraction. They can't do that because like Goofini's never going to be an e-ticket attraction. It's like, hey, here's a ride that anyone can ride on, and if it's the end of the night, we might let you ride twice. You know, something like that.
The only thing I can say is Snow White is very popular, besides with Mrs. Specht,
Yes.
with younger.
I was very pleased when they got rid of the dark ride, the Snow White dark ride. That
Yeah,
it was
Bailey
like I love the Snow White dark ride. They still have it in Disneyland, but I was very pleased that she's still going to have a ride because this is the original Disney princess. This is the original Disney movie, so she needs to be represented in the parks.
And she will be. And they're almost done with the princess meet and greet. There too.
That's where the old Snow White ride is.
Took that out and made a princess meet and greet.
Which is important because girls like to meet the princesses. But
They do.
but what we do have already, so we're waiting for the meet and greet. We're waiting for the Snow White minecart attraction. What we do have done is, like you said, the circus. We have our Little Mermaid done. Little Mermaid still pretty popular.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you want the fast pass because you're still gonna wait a while.
I got my fast pass. So did you.
Disneyland, walked on it.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's really easy to get on it's in California Adventure, so it's not as busy of a park. But walked on Toy Story Mania in Disneyland Park. Had to wait a half hour. There are no fast passes for it.
It was 200 minutes last time I went.
If you're a Disney World fan and you go to Disneyland and you see that you're walking on a Little Mermaid and you see that it's no fast passes for, it was mind blowing. I'm like, where is this place I'm in? It's so confusing. But yeah, no, a half hour wait for Toy Story Mania and no fast passes. They don't have fast pass machine for that ride. They don't.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. It blows your mind. So besides Little Mermaid, we have the Beast Castle, which probably one of the best dining experiences on any of the parks, even for just a lunch.
Yes, and people start lining up at like 10 o'clock to go get lunch at the Beast Castle, and lunch is quick service, dinner is
really good fine service.
Yes.
I mean, fine dining, yeah. I mean, it's really good.
And the place is huge. We're not talking a small area.
With different rooms.
Yes, huge place, and it's still hard to get into. It is, right now, comparable to Le Cellier. That's how long you have to, make reservations almost 6 months in advance. Le Cellier's in Canada and Epcot.
Yeah, good food. Such a good job. So overall, impressions of our new Fantasyland so far.
I love it so. It's so beautiful. You just want to stare at it because it's not only is it new, but they never miss a detail.
And it just flows. It just flows from area to area.
It's very nice.
Big thumbs up from me. I think it's pretty cool. We actually kind of stand a chance against Disneyland now. We have more attractions. All right, not more attractions. And we have more attractions in our park, so we have similar number of attractions in our Fantasylands. And ours is just really, really beautiful. And thematically, we actually beat them because we got the themes going throughout.
We like the themes. We like to theme things.
Yeah, the theming's key. So that is our very long-winded Imagineering segment. Let's move on to third period of the day.
Ding!
Animation 101. We just briefly want to talk about the Disney Renaissance of the 80s through the 90s, which we experienced. Mm-hmm. Probably the strongest era of Disney ever. And it's hard for me to say because it was after Walt Disney had already passed.
Yes.
Good number of years passed.
But it was a time where they made a giant push. And it was, you were getting Disney movies, every couple of years. Big Disney movies.
Strong Disney movies. They were actually animating down here in Florida as well during a good portion of it. So we got some really cool movies. But if you don't know the Disney Renaissance, it actually kind of started with Little Mermaid.
Yes.
That was really kind of like where Little Mermaid was huge, by the way.
It was very big.
When it came out, it was huge, and I think it made animators realize, like, animated movies are still relevant. Mm-hmm.
It was also kind of the beginning of your soundtrack is just as important as the movie you make.
Yeah.
You got to get in people's heads and,
Right.
you know.
Oh yeah, the music from
You can-
soundtracks for some of those movies. And also we had a lot of new animators join Disney's team. These are a lot of the newer generation of animators. So it's amazing to see what they were able to produce. So we had Little Mermaid, Rescuers Down Under, not as popular, but I'm actually a big fan of Rescuers Down Under. I don't know if you.
I like the Rescuers.
Yeah, I actually like the Rescuers Down Under more.
That's so
Did you know
rare.
that? Did you
Very
know that?
rare. I did not know that.
I always thought it was cool, but I like Australian things. I think they're kind of cool. But then after that, we see an increase in kind of fairy tale-esque movies. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, probably in chronological order, probably 3 of the strongest movies in a row. You know.
I mean, Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen anymore generally.
Yeah. Well, especially now
they
that
have
they
their own
actually
category.
have animation has its own category.
At their time, they didn't, so it was unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah, great film. And then Aladdin was cool because it was the princess movie that boys could like, because really it wasn't a princess movie. There was a princess in it, but I know as a boy, I mean, as a kid,
Did you want to be a thief?
I wanted all the action figures, the video game. We had all that stuff, you know. Oh man.
You wanted to wear a vest.
I was a big fan of Jafar, by the way. Did you know that?
No, you really?
Yeah, so I think almost every single Jafar action figure. That was regular Jafar with his kind of more serpent-like hat, and my favorite was Genie Jafar.
Okay.
So I had the red Genie Jafar
Out of
action
curiosity,
figure.
do you have the Jafar Vinylmation?
No. I think that's kind of, that era has passed, and my Jafar fixation has kind of passed, but I was really into it as a kid. I moved on. And then it kind of all came together with The Lion King, which, again, it's hard for me to say because it's post-Disney, post-Walt Disney, but probably Disney's greatest film.
It's a wonderful movie. You can't help but laugh and cry and sing and love the whole thing.
And I'm not saying it's my favorite, but it's almost a perfect movie.
It brings it all around, for sure.
Yeah. So that was kind of the greatest. There was a lot of great animation that came after it, but not necessarily films that were as beloved. You have Pocahontas, Hunchback, Hercules, Mulan, Tarzan. Which one of those was your favorite out of those?
Hercules is my favorite out of those.
Yeah.
It's the one I've seen the most.
Fun soundtrack.
But yes, I do like that one. I like the voices.
A little bit more Aladdin-esque.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I'm gonna be an oddball. Guess which one is kind of my favorite?
Tarzan.
Tarzan actually my least favorite in that crew.
Oh, okay.
My favorite in that crew is actually Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I hate that movie.
It is a very, very dark movie, but the animation in it is phenomenal.
Okay.
It looks phenomenal. It was this idea that they were going to make more adult-oriented animation. Did not pan out for them. There's a couple ideas that they had in there. With Pocahontas, it was like, hey, let's do more historical things. Didn't pan out for them. Hunchback, let's do more adult-oriented. Didn't really pan out. But, you know, are they the worst Disney movies of all time? No. Not by any means. But actually, for me, the whole era kind of ended, Disney Renaissance ended with Fantasia 2000. I like to think of it on a high note. Fantasia 2000, if you ever watch any of the Fantasia movies, they might be a little bit boring, but the animation is the strongest animation you're going to see from Disney, period. I mean, they focused on styles and that type of thing. So with Fantasia 2000, I kind of like to think of that as the ending, because after Fantasia 2000 came the movie Dinosaur, which was a computer-generated movie, their first computer-generated movie. I do not have any love for that movie.
I have no love. I even forgot it was a Disney movie.
And the dinosaur ride scares the crud out of me. Yeah. So, and plus I lost the camera on that ride once. But I kind of like, so I like to think of it as Fantasia 2000 was kind of the end of the era. And then, you know, since then we've kind of seen 2D animation kind of go by the wayside, unfortunately.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. You don't really see a lot of. Last one was Princess and the Frog, and they have no intention of making another 2D animated film for the time being.
And Princess and the Frog is a very
It's a great movie. Yeah, no, it was great. Back to the Disney Renaissance. Out of those films, out of the Disney Renaissance films, which ones were your favorite?
Beauty and the Beast is one of my all-time favorites, so definitely has to be that one. And I would probably go with either Aladdin or Hercules.
Okay.
I like them both. I don't think Hercules was as big because you don't see a lot of Hercules merchandise.
No, it was not. It was not. And I think the music's very fun. I think the music made Hercules. I had a lot of fun in that movie.
Yes.
I'm gonna go Aladdin for nostalgia, but definitely as far as, you know, what is that era remembered for? Lion King. It's remembered for that film. But definitely for me, Aladdin for nostalgia. I think Aladdin isn't as well remembered as some of the other movies, or it should be. I feel like it should be a little bit more remembered than it is.
It should be more
than just a circular magic carpet ride in Adventureland, maybe. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, definitely for nostalgia's sake, Aladdin. I probably saw that movie 3 times in the theater.
Really?
Yeah. Because everybody wanted to take us. They knew we loved it, so I had both sets of grandparents and like an aunt take us to see Aladdin. So.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So before we end, let's talk closure activities. Okay. I want to know, what is your favorite Disney animated movie of all time? So I want to know. Put it in the comments section below. What is your favorite Disney animated movie of all time?
All right. In the theme parks, what are you most excited about in the new Fantasyland? Are you poking me?
I'm poking you.
Nice.
What are you most excited about in Fantasyland? I'm anxious to hear. So whatever you guys think, leave it in the comments section below. Let us know what you think. And until next time.
See ya.
This is where I'm meant to be.
Okay, why am I
I
wearing
will
this shirt?
find my way. I can go the distance. I'll be there someday. If I can be strong.